lovely, inshallah. That is my hope for the signature tune, inshallah. As we know, the one who recites most salawat will be closest to our beloved Master, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, on the day of Qiyam. Welcome back to Urban Women, and join us live on our screens as we welcome our special guest, Sister Fatima Dada, who is a clinical psychologist with almost 17 years of experience in public health and private health spheres. Worked for many years at Prince Mshieni Memorial Hospital, where she served as head of department and ran a busy forensic psychology department. And now she's currently in private practice with rooms in Westville and Musgrave. Very important topic that we're actually talking about, and it's attachment. And I, as a mum, can really resonate with this. And I know many of you wonderful listeners will as well. Because as mothers, we often wonder whether our teenagers still need us. I want to hear from you as well, in the same way that they did when they were rather young. Now, teenage years are filled with emotional changes, growing independence, shifting identities, and sometimes distance that can leave parents feeling unsure about how to connect. But beneath the mood swings and desire for freedom, attachment, the emotional bond between a parent and a child, continues to play a powerful role in a teenager's sense of confidence, in their resilience in relationships, and overall mental well-being. So I'm very excited to welcome our special guest, Sister Fatima Dada. Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Urban Women.
Good to be here, Razia.
So sorry about that. I forgot to switch on your mic. I was so excited to welcome you. Lovely to have you in the studio, and thank you for your time. Now, this word attachment, let's talk about that. What exactly is attachment, and how does it influence a teenager's emotional development?
Okay, so attachment is a term that actually is used quite a bit, and it's a lovely question. It's good to understand exactly what attachment refers to. Basically, it's a psychological theory. It's rooted in psychology, and it explains how human beings start to form emotional bonds. Usually, we refer to it in the relationship between children and caregivers, because these emotional bonds are developed in our infancy. It starts way back when, and these early relationships shape our emotional functioning, our ability to be in relationships, and our self-concept right throughout our lives. It's a theory that was first developed by John Bowlby. So his name is quite well known in attachment theory, and he developed this understanding from working with children who were separated from caregivers or institutionalized or went through war-related displacement. He suggested that the emotional closeness is biologically wired as survival. So we need that closeness and proximity to our attachment figures, because our survival is so dependent on it. So if you think about it, all mammals, whether it's us humans or rats or mice or any mammal, we cannot survive infancy without attachment to a caring, protective adult, usually our parents. And our ability to attach happens because we have a biological wire for that.
Yeah, makes sense, because they say leave a baby alone. What will happen? It will die.
Exactly, yeah.
So we need that, right? And for many people, Sister Fatima, they assume that teenagers actually become distant and independent. Now, does that mean that they need their parents less emotionally?
I don't think, I wouldn't necessarily say that they need their parents less emotionally. I think a better way to see it is that the way that they need their parents changes.
Oh, it shifts,
yeah.
All righty. And then, can the quality of a mother-child relationship in early childhood affect a teen's behavior later on?
Yeah, most certainly. When the quality of the parent-child relationship will determine the type of attachment style that a child develops. So the research by John Bowlby was expanded. It's been replicated so many times, and we now have 4 primary attachment styles. So we have a secure attachment, an avoidant attachment, an anxious ambivalent attachment, or a disorganized attachment. So the early mother-child or parent-child relationship, so basically how the mom responds to the infant, whether she picks up a crying child, whether she responds, whether she's consistent in the caregiving, even things like eye contact. We learn co-regulation through attunement between the mother and the baby. So that when these things are in place during infancy and early childhood, that definitely will impact on the teen's behavior later on.
So important. We really need a whole, that segment, just on how we need to be with our babies and our toddlers, because that's the foundational stage and what you're building on. We know that it shows up later on, as you just mentioned. So it's also important. I think it will help us to go and reflect as adults as well. What is our attachment style? What is our attachment style? So later on, inshallah, I'd love to go more into that. Now, teen years can also be filled with, that sense of mood swings and also conflict. How can parents tell the difference between normal teenage behavior and also deeper emotional struggles?
Okay, this one is tricky because the difference is not so clear cut. So hormonal changes in both boys and girls. I know girls are typically thought to have greater hormonal changes, but it happens with both boys and girls. And these changes can leave our teenagers feeling a little out of control of their own emotions. They come across as being a little irritable, socially disconnecting from parents and other siblings, wanting to be alone. You'll notice changes in their sleep patterns and appetite. And a lot of this can be normal developmental changes during this period, but the tricky part is that they can also be indications of a mood disorder, and it can be really hard for parents to know, where it's at. I would suggest, for parents who are concerned about their teenagers, that maybe they look for indications that their teenagers are not coping with tasks that they once coped with. So aspects of daily living, like maybe if they're not coping with schoolwork, if there's conduct problems like lying or stealing, they're not looking after themselves. If they normally had good self-care, now they're not washing their hair, cutting their nails, anything that indicates that their ability to function well on a daily basis is being impaired, then that might be an indication that they should get help. And another one is, and I have to mention this, is if there's excessive crying, self-harm, even suicidal thoughts.
Yes.
Sometimes teenagers can say things in anger like, I wish I was dead. And
we can't take that lightly.
You can't take that lightly. I think parents, it's easy to say that they're angry or they're trying to get attention, but these are not things that we can take lightly.
Yes.
So when these things happen, then parents should take it a bit more seriously. When in doubt, consult a GP or a psychologist if you have access to one.
Yes, and you know what? Let your parental instinct come in here. So, but for that, you've got to be present with your child and don't let anything slip. From what we're seeing happening recently, it's horrifying, and definitely we cannot take anything for granted. It's sad to see the number of teenagers that are actually, causing that self-harm, sitting themselves and doing all of these things. But there's so much more that we need to chat about, so many important and relevant topics to bring to the forefront and to our attention also, so that we have that guidance how to navigate all of this. Sister Fatima, it's been a pleasure having you on. It's time for the 11 a.m. news, but we do look forward to having more of you on Urban Woman, inshallah. Time for a break, listeners. I'll be back shortly. Stay tuned with me. And that was Sister Fatima Dar.